My family is the source of most of the pain in my life. I know if you've clicked on this video and are watching now, that holds true for you too. I felt it was only right if I was gonna talk about my family to be, completely honest with my own story and the things I've gone through myself. My dad is in prison for a number of different things he's done, and he's been in prison since I was about 9, and I'm in my 20s now. And this lack of a father has obviously brought a lot of issues and conflicts within my life, especially concerning my own identity and who I should be and what I should do, how I should lead my life. But on top of that, I've also had to deal with a mother who hasn't been able to recognize my own feelings in any matter, especially when it comes towards the past and all that happened in my childhood. So dealing with first a parent who isn't there at all and has only brought memories of pain and anger and destruction in his wake, paired with a mother who cannot see outside of her own perspective and take into account other people's, especially my own feelings, as these two aspects of my life have brought much suffering to myself and left me with an unsureness to who I should be and who I am, and my own relationship with my own feelings and the way that I've been taught to coach myself into not feeling certain things. Do I blame my parents? Yes. Do I forgive them? Not really. Especially because, my dad, he was actually meant to get out of prison last year, I think, but he's since done more things which has caused him to be sentenced longer while being in prison. So, and on top of that, I don't really see my mother at all. She's about 3 hours away, drive from me, and but I also just don't really like talking to her and speaking with her, which is the same, but yeah, because communicating with her just results in arguments and bitterness between us, and that's what I've grown used to my whole life. So what's this video about, or why did I bring up the topic of family? I guess I wanted to bring up family because it's been the main topic on my mind of late, or I really should say my whole life, but I guess recently it's just been on my mind, and I know how much it affects all of us as living beings within this species, as we are social creatures and we have an interdependent relationship with our family, which is why a lot of the time when we have to say goodbye to these people that were meant to love us and to show us unconditional understanding and support, I guess when we realize that this unconditional support is never coming, we subsequently decide that we have to push these people away. And in many cases we are right, but that still doesn't stop the pain that exists within your life for however many years you're separate from them. And the truth is even if we were to try and engage with our family and parents again and try to get them to understand us, there won't be resolution, more than likely. It will result in the same thing happening again, which has at least been my case for my life. And through listening to other people's stories, I can feel and tell that it's more or less the same for most people who have tried to create a relationship, even through their awakenings and even through their spiritual understandings. It still doesn't help these, necessary relationships in our lives from getting any better. So I guess I wanted to talk about this because if your family has hurt you and are still hurting you, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you, and it doesn't mean that you need to change yourself or become different to get their support and affirmative or positive reaction. If you tell them how you're feeling and they get angry, or if they push back or argue with you, that's only a sign of their own consciousness and their own level of understanding. Because I've always thought about it, if I had a friend that treated me like my mom or my dad, I wouldn't be friends with them, and I definitely wouldn't be in contact with them for my whole life. I can also see how many of the traumas or problems or situations I had to deal with growing up has strengthened me in many areas that maybe I wouldn't be as strong in if I had different parents or a different family altogether. And while of course there are positives and benefits to everything, that doesn't mean that the pain and suffering we feel at the hands of our family is good, or is something we must or feel we should endure just to keep the peace. For someone who's been living out of home and had more or less minimal contact with my parents since I was like 18, I can say that my life might not be a lot better without them, but there's a lot more peace and a lot more less explaining of myself. Because despite all of the memories and pain that I have, I still miss my parents. I still wish I could speak to my mom like a normal son could speak to his mom. And I wish I could go and visit my dad and see him at his place and that is nearby, but our fantasies and wishes can sometimes hurt us a lot more than the reality we've been born into. And I guess unfortunately my reality is I was born with two parents who were not ready to be parents, and even now still aren't. Despite my mother having 3 other children than me, she is in no role to be a parent, and my dad is in no role to even be a citizen outside just living normally. This video, I guess, was made as more of like a soothing balm to the hot burn that is the suffering of our family's tendencies as children, or just a meeting place for all of us to come together as a collective and heal what we all share, which is feeling not seen, feeling not heard, feeling like our feelings are a problem or bothersome or not real or valid. We've all gone through this and experienced these similar things, and sadly even our parents have, and they've visited or made us visit the same sins that their own parents put onto them. I don't know if that's the same, but yeah. But I know in time we can all heal and learn to become better people and hopefully better parents for the next generation, building off of our parents' mistakes. That is at least my hope. And I should say, but I am sorry for everyone who is watching or listening that has endured the horrible pain of feeling abandoned by people who are still in your life. To be abandoned by your parents, but for them to still actually physically be there is maybe even worse than just being straight abandoned. Because at least if you're just abandoned completely and you never see them, you can have a dream of who they are. But the reality of our parents is sometimes, like I said, worse. Well, the fantasies are worse, but sometimes the reality is a lot worse than what we can dream up of what our parents could have been. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.